Welcome back to the Mama Vegas Show. If you guys are new here to the Mama Vegas Show, welcome in. Today we will be exploring the extraordinary partnership of our guests, Erin Sims and John Mills. Fueled by their love and deep passion for the LGBT community, they embody true advocacy and compassion. Please help me welcome them into the Mama Vegas Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, guys. Let's just jump right in and, get started and get to sharing. And so if we can start by letting our audience know and our viewers know what inspired you guys to embark on this journey of serving the elderly community.
Well, I'll start. Many, many years ago, I was living next to a gentleman named Ken. And after a little bit of discovery, I found out that his family had no longer chosen to have anything to do with him. And he was in his late 70s and just needed some help. And so we started talking, and he told me about the struggles that he had with, getting groceries and just navigating the world that sometimes we all take for granted when we're younger. And so I started helping him by picking up his groceries and then checking in on him on a regular basis, just in case he fell or anything. So I'd check on him in the morning, checking on the evening, and he gave me a key to his place, and my dog started hanging out with him, and we'd go over and once in a while share dinner with him. And that led me into getting him some home health care. And then he discovered that he had cancer and he didn't have a lot of years left to live. He actually only had a few months. And so I helped him find a team to help provide him the care on hospice. And I stayed in contact with that team, and I was there to hold his hand when he took his last breath, which was kind of a life-changing moment for me. It was the proudest thing I had ever done. And just to be there, even with somebody that wasn't a family member that had become a family member to us. And then I quickly after that, I found an opportunity in healthcare, and I was hired on doing home health and hospice, personal care service support and physician support, and spent the last 10 years of my life providing advice and expertise and support to the aging population, which has been just such an honor. So yeah, that's mine.
How about you, Erin? Do you have any?
Mine's a little bit different. Life was changing. I was becoming an empty nester and was looking for something to do. And a friend of mine was starting a caregiving business and said, "Hey, you'd be great at this." I'm like, "What?" I know nothing about this. And so I just dove right in and just fell in love with it and just kind of ended up opening my own company down the road. And COVID came and switched all that. And I moved to Idaho and met John, and we both had a passion for our elderly. We met at an inflatable parade. He was a sumo wrestler. I was a pig. And so we were dancing around, trying to cheer the residents up, because at the time of COVID, nobody could go outside. Yeah. It was just so heartbreaking that their families couldn't see them. They couldn't come out because they didn't want to spread, COVID around or anything else around at the time. So that's how we had met. And then we just kind of said, you know what? We were tired of the no's and the what ifs. And we're like, we could do better for families. There's so much wrong, but we don't want to be restrained. So we quit our jobs and said, let's start our own company. And now we're here.
Well, one of the big things too was we found that in a lot of cities throughout the U.S., larger and larger companies are starting to get into the healthcare world with geriatric support. And we're finding that it's all based on the insurance you carry, whether you can get that support and you can get that help. And I felt that people were becoming more of a number than a person. And I could no longer justify serving in that type of environment when it was taking all the personalized support away. And so after many, many discussions, a lot of fear, really trying to lean more into faith than fear, Erin and I decided, hey, we can create something different where we can support, encourage, and help others to be more proactive than reactive as they age.
Bridge that gap.
Bridge that gap. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we decided, after looking at all these scratch boards all over the house, to kind of pull it all together and try to create a resource and to start a movement of education.
That's a strong word too, right? But we really do want to make a movement that it's okay to be proactive as you're aging in your healthcare and in your life.
Yes, yes. And what do you think the big misconception is in elderly care? What do you think that people misunderstand the most about it, and even family members, taking on that responsibility?
I personally think it's time, right? We think that, especially men, we think that we're invincible, like nothing's going to happen. We've always been strong. We've always been healthy. We're good. We don't need any help, right? But then something happens and you slip and fall. And if you don't have a plan and you wind up in the hospital system and then they're referring you to a skilled nursing rehab and all of these things, your life changes very, very quickly. And a lot of the parents have children that are still working and taking care of their children. And so it can really alter the life of many, many people when that happens. And so I think the misperception is just people don't realize that it's better to have a plan, like a plan B in place, just in case if something does happen, kind of like an insurance plan, to know what to do if something happens.
Well, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Here
Absolutely.
we are. John's in his mid 50s. I'm on my late 40s. And I'm like, oh, we have time to work on a will. Oh, we have time to plan that. But you really just never know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Life fast is so fast. I was just talking to one of my friends and I said, I literally remember when mom was my age right now, and now I'm her age. And so you just don't, now I'm that age, and she's in her 60s, and you don't realize that how fast life just goes, right? And as you say, we don't plan because we don't know. We just think, okay, we're here tomorrow, and we just live day to day. And a lot of us don't pre-plan. This is truly remarkable. What you guys are doing, inspiring and educating families, being an advocate. What do you think is the most inspiring part of that? What fills your cup about that?
I think for me, I'll just speak for myself, but
Mhm.
I think that for me, it's about having a purposeful job, right? Having something that I'm proud to do. I don't want to ever be remembered for the fancy car, the big, huge house that I have. I don't care about those things. I care about making a difference in somebody's life.
well,
And
it's
so,
seeing the families too, the relief
Yeah.
that comes from their faith,
yeah. And
right?
I was going to say that was when you invest in other people and you're educated about certain things when it comes to aging and healthcare, and you see the relief that comes over them, or you're able to do, like we do a thing called touching message. And when you can do something like that and give a gift like that to somebody that's so special, it really leaves a lasting impression. And so, and to be able to do it with your partner and your best friend, and it just really enriches all areas of our life.
When you go through tragedy, unless you've been through it, you don't know what to expect.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if we can help educate families and individuals and say, hey, by being proactive, by getting this ready, we're a place of resource. We have learned so much. And I think that's one of the things that I love is I'm learning just as much as everybody else. So we can help people, right? But it's
Yeah.
just so cool the different people we've had on and like, wow, someone's going to listen to this and they're going to be inspired, or it's going to help them in something that might be embarrassing to them and they don't want to share with anybody,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So that
And
to
the
me,
trickle down effect, being able to help one, then someone else can help someone else from that information. And so it just, that trickle down effect, that resource just keeps on giving. Like you said, that education, something that you just continuously learn. And those which your resources are providing is continual education to that
absolutely.
community, families. Those moments are very impactful and are invaluable. Being a true connectors, how do you navigate the challenges in finding innovative ways to bring those valuable resources to the elderly in their family?
Oh my gosh, where do we start? Well, first we wanted to have our base, which is our podcast, right? So we go out and we research for
Yeah.
different guests based off of things through our own experience of people saying, hey, I wish I would have known this over here, or what about this? And then we talk to other people and get other subjects. But like sorry. John had mentioned, we have our touching message and then we also have our consulting that we do as well to really, we're not affiliated with anybody. We're a neutral party. So if you have questions, call us and we'll walk you through it. We do a free 15 minutes. So what is your issue? What are you looking for? And John's really more the expert in this department. So if you want to speak more on
Yeah, I think that with our company, we constantly try to look for solutions that we think that would help us and help our family. And really it starts with you, right? It starts with what are my fears? What are the things that would help me or things I'm concerned about my parents, right? Because we're all very similar into those needs. And so we've learned so much. I always joke around and say, well, it's because I'm so much older than Erin here is. And so we meet with these experts, we get all this knowledge, and that way she's ready to deal with me as I age, correct? So, but it's really going back to living a purposeful life, being intentional and serving others. I think that we've lost a sense of community, and we used to all know our neighbors and help our neighbors and support our neighbors. And now a lot of people don't even know their neighbors, and the only interaction they have is through frustration with a dog barking or, whatever.
The kids playing, making noise. Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
how we
so,
get to our neighbors. Yeah.
yeah. And so I think for us having the podcast to start, and then we have some online resources that we have put together that people can review and look at and purchase if they'd like. And then we do the consultations where we educate people on certain subjects when it comes to aging in place, but we're not affiliated to anybody. So it's not a marketing approach. It's an educational approach. And then we do something which is a touching message where we'll sit down with somebody and we have this high-end recording equipment where we can record their story from when they were very young all the way to where they are now.
That's amazing.
And then they can gift that to their children or grandchildren. Or it could be something like maybe grandma's lasagna recipe.
But I do like one of our books too, which is super cool that I love that will help listeners and they can even do it on their own is it kind of puts your life in order. Does somebody else have your passwords? Does somebody know where your insurance or your medical card or what prescriptions you're on? And so we really want people, again, be proactive, right? Organize your stuff. So if something were to happen today, they could go right to that book or right to that place or that filing cabinet and go, oh, here it is. They have an allergy to this, or this is where their wish is for their puppy. This is where their dog goes, or the food and allergies of your pet. Have you thought about that? If you were to pass today, what happens to your animals? So it's really trying to get people to understand and talk about kind of like when we have children, right? We couldn't talk about having children and our emotions and hormones, and now we're able to. And that's really what we want people to do is we're all going to die. Let's start talking about it. Let's talk about it with our family and be okay and not be fearful because it's going to happen, right?
Well, and it's a gift for us that we can give to our children or to our friends by being more prepared. Because if we aren't prepared and then we go through something major like a fall or whatever, and we don't have all of our stuff gathered where they can easily find it and locate it, or we don't have things put into place that we want, it creates a lot of stress with our children, with our support systems. And so it really is like an obligation for us to take care of ourselves and give that gift to our children. And we're here to help with that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, something my mom at a very young age, she always would talk about that, and we would always say, you're not going anywhere, but she would say, you don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. And so she always wanted us to know, her insurance and her beneficiary and where she wanted to be buried. And I thought it was so weird, talking about this in your 40s and your 50s. But as you say, you have to plan, and it is a conversation that you do have to have with family members. What advice would you have for those family members that are struggling to have this talk with family members that are trying to navigate this with elderly family members who are just like, no, this is not the time? How do they get that talk out of them? How do they get this conversation going?
I think it's important to be very gentle with that conversation.
Well, approach it with love.
Approach it with love. Approach it not in a threatening way. It never works if it comes off in a threatening way.
And small doses.
And in small doses, maybe start a discussion and start those, hey, mom, I want to know how you feel as time goes on. I know that you've been challenged with your eyesight. What are you thinking as far as down the road, transportation? What would you like to happen? Would you like me to drive you around? Would you like a car service? Do you know how to use Uber? Do you have friends to take you places? What happens if you can no longer drive, And I'm not trying to scare you, Mom. I'm just trying to help you so that I can be there to support you. When people tell that you're doing it through your heart and you're doing it out of empathy and caring, not threatening and saying, okay, well, how much money am I getting when you're gone? Or, you better come up with a plan because I can't just leave my job and come take care of you. When you talk like that, people shut down, they clam up, they don't want to communicate.
Well, and you can approach it from a different perspective as, say, mom or dad or grandma. I'm trying to plan my stuff. What did you guys do when you planned yours? How did you go about it? Like, you're seeking advice from them, which might inspire them to go, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, yeah, maybe, right? So it's just non-threatening.
And they can call us too. Anybody can call us throughout the nation and say, hey, can you help us navigate this? And what we do is we'll sit down and we'll ask them about the dynamic of the family. Like, is there certain siblings that just don't communicate but need information? Because I have faced all those, I've done explanation of benefits and had to mediate and be there to help. Kind of explain and help them so that it doesn't create this really, really bad situation. So,
well, and bringing somebody else from the outside in sometimes, right? Because how often do we listen to our parents? They often don't want to listen to us either. So sometimes finding that mediator really does start that conversation. Whatever fits, right? You just kind of find it.
Yeah, different people, sometimes the older generation, I know I love my dad, but he's very, very independent. He's 80 now and he's like, he doesn't want to discuss it because a lot of men feel very, very vulnerable discussing that, right? And so you have to realize that I'm not trying to make you discuss something you're not ready to. I'm just planting little seeds of things that may help you, right? So, yeah, it can be challenging at times. It doesn't always work with everybody. So.
Yeah. But we have, like, as Erin said, but we all have to have that talk, right? We all want to take that same drive down that same road. And so we don't want it to be a sudden thing. We want to be prepared. Prepare our family members, prepare ourselves. I like when you say, tackle it with love, tackle it with care, with compassion. And yes, put yourself in their shoes, right? Because again, one day we're going to be there. And so we want to be approached the way we want someone to approach us. So I truly believe that a lot of elderly do shut down because they feel like they are a burden, or it's the approach, it's the tone, it's the delivery of the conversation. And so they're like, I don't want to be the burden, or I don't want you to feel like you have to do this. And so they kind of shy away from it. So like you said, taking that approach as if actually I'm seeking advice, Mom, about this, and your parents always want to give advice. So that's a great way to approach that. Your journey involves adventure and compassion and empathy. Can you highlight a specific experience that has showcased the importance of these qualities in your work?
I can talk about a situation that just happened recently. Going back to the thing that we do with the recordings and a touching message. There was a gentleman that wanted us to come out and do a life story with his mother, and I sat down and it was hard because she was on hospice and she didn't have a lot of time left, and she was in and out as far as her ability to have conversation because of some of the medications, anxiety medications that she was on. But I was able to capture some things that she said that were very, very beautiful and that reflected on her relationship with her son that I'm sure he's going to cherish for the rest of his life. And to be able to give that to somebody, to be able to record that, do some soft editing, and then give that to him. I just found out that she passed away a couple days ago, and now he has this recording of his mom's voice and saying those things. And this is something that he will cherish more than a lot of things that he owns. So to be part of that and to give back just is such an incredible feeling that I have, right? I could go out and I could go sell a car, do something, and it's just not as intimate and special as this. So
Well, and I had lost my dad. It'll be 3 years this Father's Day. And so sometimes doing and hearing these stories tears me up just a little bit. But really, I have recordings of my dad. He always read The Night Before Christmas for us for since the 80s, right? We all read the same book.
Yes, yes.
And but to have that on a recording and to know that's there for my children and my great grandchildren. And after I pass, they'll always know what their great, 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 great grandpa did. Right. Which
Yeah.
is just so cool to have that voice and that tone and their mannerisms. Cause you can see a picture, but you're like, I wonder what they sound like. I wonder what their emotions and, did they have an accent? Did they not? Were they like really deep or were they high pitched? And one of my favorite things in my words that I did in the caregiving was fika. And I'm just going to translate. It's a Swedish word and it pretty much is like slow down. We're in such a fast paced world. Slow down and make that phone call. Hey, how are you? Hey, mom. Hey, daughter. Hey, son. Right. And just have a conversation. Meet that friend for lunch that you're like, I just don't have time. Well, you may not have time later if you don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
be present. I think our phones are amazing. Phones can do so many things in our life, but sometimes we have to simplify and we have to go back and have moments of where we're not plugged in, where we're having real relationships. Listen to hear somebody instead of listening to respond. Listen to actually hear their voice, hear what they're saying, get their perspective. So it's just this company that we've started. I love it. I'm passionate about serving others. I'm passionate about getting our message out.
Well, and to get the information out to people to bring that value to their life, something that they just are struggling with now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the services that, in case we didn't mention those, can you mention those again for our listeners and where those links and where they can find you after our show, those family members that want to reach out to you guys, get those special moments recorded. How can they do that?
Yeah, so we have a beautiful website and you can reach that by going to www.connect-empower.com. And on our website, it's really been really nicely designed where you can navigate through it. You can listen to the podcast right on the website. You can you can order the information that you need.
We have one thing. We also have many languages too.
Yeah.
So it's not just in English.
Yep. We have
Awesome.
And then we have a little link that you can click on for people that maybe have vision problem impairment or have hearing impairment. They can click on that. If they have ADD, they can click on that. There's all kinds of different things. So the website has been designed really, really well to help everybody. And so they can find all that mainly on the website and they can purchase and download the supportive books that we've created. And then the consultations, they can go in and schedule the consultations on there as well. And then the touching message, they can do that online too and schedule that. And there's pricing and everything for that as well.
We do have some freebies on there as well too.
Yep.
And we do it where if there's questions, like if you're looking for questions that ask hospice or nutritionists. So we have a couple different sets of those that people can get for free. Questions no.
Yeah, and then we have a pretty nice social media presence. We're on Pinterest.
Always bringing the information.
Yeah, always Instagram, Facebook, all the different social media platforms. And then Erin and I do actively go out to and we meet with independent living facilities, assisted livings. We go out and volunteer with different groups. We're always trying to put ourselves in areas of support and encouragement. So
Such a selfless act from both of you. I truly, and I share this with most of my guests because I feel like anyone that gives back and gives all of them important to other people are chosen as vessels for their work. Not everyone can do it. And so I truly believe, like you said, you guys met, it was just meant to be because you were meant to be that vessel power team. And this was what you were meant to do, is to be there for others and to be that voice and that heart and, that reason for and behind. And in these roles, you find yourself sometimes forgetting about your own selves, right? And so how do you, with all this giving, still remember to take care of Erin and John? How do you balance all of this? You guys are a power couple. How do you balance all those things and still find time for you?
We've set some rules.
I think that, yeah, I think that we're still navigating that. I think
Yeah.
that it's important to take care of ourselves just as much as it's important to give to others, because if you're not taking care of yourself optimally, and I start my day with a workout, and I read the Bible and spend some time on gratitude and a lot of different things, and Erin does her thing she does as well. But as far as having time to spend quality time together, we've had to really schedule that in and say, because we're both so passionate about helping others,
A bit of a workaholics.
yeah, that we said, okay, at this time we're gonna shut it off, and this is our time to go out in nature or go for a walk, or get unplugged and just hold each other's hand, play a game of cards, or do something special together. So
We used to have a word that we used a lot. It was apple, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I need a moment. I need a break. You need a break. Like, it's okay. I'm calling it. You can't back out.
Yeah.
It's a timeout. Let's
because as you know yourself, sometimes you get
Yes.
so passionate, you get so involved in what you're doing that you lose track of time because you love what you do. And I think that that's something that people don't realize, that can also be cumbersome to a relationship, that if you're so passionate and love what you do, then sometimes you can lose track of time and hurt your relationship too. So you have to make sure that's a priority as well.
And I think that's why we're lucky. We're both mindful. If I'm out of sync, he's on it, and vice versa, really to balance that way.
Giving each other grace.
That's right.
Give and take.
That's right.
Understanding is your key aspect of your mission. How do you foster a deep understanding amongst the broader community about the challenges and joys of elderly care?
I think it's constantly educating ourselves, engagement. I mean, I just went over to wash my car a little while ago, and there was a gentleman standing outside, and I said, "Hey, can I ask you a couple questions?"
But wait a sec. This is why he's amazing, because we do something new and different. And just because we've done it for a while doesn't mean that there's not a little bit of fear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her the full
So I saw this gentleman, and I didn't want to come off and offend him. I could tell that he was probably in his 70s. And I didn't want to offend him. And so I finally said, you know what? This is my passion. I got to let fear go and have some faith. And so I walked up and I said, "Excuse me, can I grab a minute of your time?" And he goes, "Sure. What's up?" And I said, my significant other and myself, we just started this company, and we're thinking about maybe moving to an area that's more densely populated with people over the age of 65. And I'm 55, and I'm not sure how old you are, but are you a native Idahoan? Have you lived here all your life, or have you just recently moved here? And he goes, "I just recently moved here." And I asked him why. And we got into this discussion. It was a wonderful discussion. He came here for the seasons. He loves the seasons. And we talked about navigating the aging and stuff. And it was wonderful. And I think so many times we allow fear to stop us from doing the things in life we were meant to do. And
you did it in a non-threatening way too, right? You did it where you approached him like, "Hey, you're an old dude."
Yeah, I would never disrespect anybody like that. I would never do that. And if he would have said, "I'm not interested in talking to anybody right now," I would have said, "Okay, well, you have a wonderful day anyway," So I think it's just that. It's just getting involved. It's taking that leap, having the courage, and having faith,
Yeah.
So.
Stepping out on faith. And it goes a long way when you just trust what you can't see. And I've learned that myself, to have faith in what I can't see, because you don't always see it. You mostly feel it, What current or new projects can we expect from you guys? I know you named it about 10 things that you're doing, but do you have any new projects or initiatives that you're currently working on to foster your mission of spreading knowledge and empowering families in the realm of elderly care?
You're going to let me talk.
Yeah.
I'll let Erin engage that, because she's like a mad scientist. She's always coming up with a new idea, and I'm constantly trying to pull in the reins and say, let's perfect what we're doing before we jump onto something else.
Oh, wait. We both say that. I think in the future, what we would love to do and what would I would love to do is John is an amazing speaker. I don't mind speaking. I just don't feel like I do it as well. But I would love
Yeah,
to see it on stage and having an interactive speech and really getting people involved to see what it feels like. If you do this, we're here to help you, right? We're
absolutely.
gonna dabble a little bit in travel. I'm putting it out in the universe and
That's right.
traveling with our
Manifestation.
speakers. That's right. I know I've talked about us going on the road where people could follow us. So we'll see. We
Yeah.
have a lot of different things that we would like to do and really just hit the little towns and spread the word because not everybody knows. You know, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't know what you don't know. So we
Yeah.
want to touch as many as we
I
can.
think trying to reach people and actually be able to serve our passion, and it's not important for me to become wealthy doing this. However, we would like to make a living doing this so that we could continue reaching out and serving others.
Yeah.
And so, we can't do that. We can't retire and do it for free right now because we're not in that position. But as far as other things go, she talked about the travel and really helping people navigate how to travel as they age too. We're both passionate travelers. So we've talked about getting involved in that too, that branch of service, and then just helping more with just creating different solutions as we age, whether it's transitioning, selling your home or whatever. So we're looking at a lot of different things. So
But like you said, one
I
thing at
love
a
it. I
time.
can't wait to see the Connect and Power bus coming through Las Vegas. And,
Well,
I can totally see you both becoming national speakers. And I think that that's an amazing goal. And I can definitely see you both doing that together. You have such great energy. And so I can see why you were brought together to do this. I'm just thinking as you guys are talking, I'm like, I'm going to go back and listen to your other podcast because I'm like loving your energy. It's amazing.
oh,
I want to make sure that I share that link as well on my social media pages to your podcast as well. And to everything, I'm going to make sure I tag that on there because this is such an important topic and is such an important awareness that we need to get out there. And any way that I can help you guys spread the message and do my part to build the bridge and the gap, then I definitely will do. Looking ahead for the future work and how do you envision helping the elderly community, empower the elderly community? How do you work within that to help them empower each other?
well, what we had talked about is really starting a program, a 501(c), really to help people pay for stuff, right? If they need handrails in their home and in really getting the community involved with this program, like, hey, let's fundraise, let's collect this and help your community and really setting it up in different states and
well, we met
building
together.
bridges.
Yeah. And we met together at an inflatable parade. And it wasn't just the two of us there. There were a lot of wonderful people that are in healthcare as well that had come together collectively to serve others. And I think when they see us doing what we're doing to serve others, it inspires them to do more, right? Because anytime you get that excitement rolling, it's almost like a magnet. Then other people are like, "Oh, that's a great idea. I want to help others too." And so I think it's about involvement and teaching others, hey, let's not sit back and allow people to fall through the cracks. Let's come together. Hey, this little lady needs her furnace fixed. Let's come together and create some ways to raise money to take care of that. So
We're
it's
even teaching it in schools too, right? I remember when we used to shovel our elderly neighbors' driveways. What's happened to that?
yeah. Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
bringing back that community. I think so many of us are so rushed in life, but it feels so good when you do something for somebody else. And I think
Yeah.
fostering that with other people. So I think that's something
Well,
we're going to
another
do
thing
too.
I would love to see come back, and I haven't seen it in a while, but my mom was very big in volunteering, is we had adoptive grandparents. And so seniors that didn't have family or they are by themselves, you sign up and then a family adopts them for the holidays, for dinner, so they're not by themselves. And I would love, love, love to bring that back.
Yeah. So we
That
have a
would be
lot of
amazing. Well,
things
let me know
going.
how I can do my part in Las Vegas. Let me know how I can do my
Okay.
part in Las Vegas. That's something that you guys start send the links in my way, the resources, and let's see when we can get that going. How many states we can get that going in again? Because I agree. I would love to see something like that. And not by mistake of texting someone on Thanksgiving and saying, I'm coming over. I seen that on TikTok. And so this guy, for the last 7 years, him and the lady have been going to each other's house because he accidentally got a text saying grandma said to come over for dinner. So not by accident, but on purpose. Let's do that on purpose.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, are there any messages that you want to get out there to our listening audience and to the community?
I think my main message to the community is please don't wait. Time happens so fast, and don't be embarrassed. Don't be scared. Don't allow depression to rule your life. Just follow us, check in with us, reach out to us.
Well, and know that fear is normal. Everybody fears it. Everybody has anxiety, and it's okay. There's resources out there for you.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Switch doctors, switch companies. It's your life, your choice. Do it.
Yeah.
Do what's best for you.
Do it now, because I am telling you, I just lost a relative. Matter of fact, I heard about it earlier today that I was even unaware of, that he was now gone, and he's younger than me. And so, and I know my family's like reaching out and trying to help with all these things, but it's never too soon to start thinking about it and preparing and making sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. You'll be so much happier that you did that. And
to understand the resources and why they're out there. And that's what our podcasts are for. We have a chaplain that's coming on this week. And to me, it was like, if you're at a hospital and a chaplain comes, you run, because that means someone's going to die or very, very sick. But no, there's a whole new understanding. And I was like, wow, this is what they do. They don't have to be religious. They're not even allowed to talk religion to you. They're there to support you or just listen to you or help guide you. So I think we're trying to put a lot of those myths aside.
Well, wait, they can talk religion.
No, they can, but
that what it is it's not based upon their religion.
Right.
When they come in to talk to you, it's about supporting you in your spiritual walk. It's not about trying to force theirs.
It doesn't need to be religion at all. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we've loved being here with you, and thank you for having us. And we're excited. We'll keep you in the loop. We'd love to spread the word in Vegas too, and support.
Thank you for helping us spread the word.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. The name says it all. Connect, empower. And that's a perfect word for what you guys are doing, and the perfect message. 2 words, big message. And I want to thank you all for coming on and sharing your journey and your insights and your commitment and dedication to the elderly community and to families and in education and spreading that awareness and those resources. It is truly commendable. And again, we aren't all chosen to be vessels. Some of us are just stand-byers of the vessels, and you guys are the vessels, and you carry a strong message and a powerful message. And I hope that I can continue to watch you guys blossom in your company. I can't wait to go to one of those national speaking events. I can't wait to see you guys are traveling. I'm going to definitely try to pop up wherever you guys are if you come by, because I want to be a part and support that. Again, listeners, please connect and Empower, Facebook, Instagram, all social media platforms. Please find them on LinkedIn. Follow them.
Twitter.
Get those resources. Yes, get those resources. And could you tell us the name of the podcast one more time? I'm going to put that on there, but just for those listeners that may want to get right on and listen, the name of the podcast, guys.
It's the same as our business name. Connect with a dash, empower.
Connect with a dash and empower. I like it. Connect with a dash and empower. But thank you guys again for coming on, and thank you listeners for listening. And until next time, continue to live with passion and purpose.